Hey everyone, my name is Jake. I'm here with Jordan, and a couple days ago we had the opportunity to play a good chunk of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. We played about the first 8 or so hours, I'd say.
Yeah.
From start to that point, it was the first time we actually got to see a big chunk of gameplay like in context as opposed to just slices that they showed before.
Right.
I guess just what did you think of it overall? Like, you're an Assassin's Creed fan. Did you like it? Is it what you wanted?
Yes, it was a pleasant surprise. I was going in with mild expectations because I wasn't the biggest fan of Origins. I know a lot of people are like, Origins was a revolution for the franchise, and I felt like it was, but at the same time, it didn't truly change enough about the formula to really...
It got like halfway there.
Right, yeah. It was like sort of approaching Witcher-type mechanics and whatnot, but not fully embracing them. And I think Odyssey takes those few extra steps to really like get to the meat of what that formula and mechanics are all about.
Yeah, there's actually a surprising amount of new features in this game. Some are small, some are actually pretty big. Like, I'm sure if you're following this game at all, you know that you can... there's narrative choices this time around, and there's romance. And I think that is something that is interesting, especially considering Anthem won't have any romance options, which BioWare has historically done in almost all their games. So we got to kind of play around with that. We got to flirt with a couple people. It was kind of weird. I wasn't sure how I felt about it.
It was very strange because it felt like the romance was almost kind of centered around Cassandra / Alexios. Like, it wasn't really about the other person. It felt like, in my opinion, like a Mass Effect romance where it's kind of like you get to pick who you want to be with and you can almost do no wrong. Like, you and I both had pretty much the same experience when we romanced this one girl. There was a scene where eventually you could make love to her, and it had the nice fade to black transition.
You like kept asking her super on the nose too, be like, "Hey, before we do this, do you want to relax?"
Yeah,
and then she's like, "No, sorry, I can't think about this right now." And then
it's like, my dad is sick.
Yeah, and then you like collect berries for her or something like that, and you come back and you're like, "Do you want to do this now?" And she's like, "Oh no, I can't. You have to we have to get clues." And then you get back and you're like, "Do you want to do this now?" And then she's like, "Okay, fine." And then you do it. And like it cuts to black and like they kiss or whatever, and then it goes back out, and then you immediately have the option to do it again. And if you say it again, she's like, "Man, I'm too tired." It's just like it seems so forced.
Yeah. I
that
felt
was
like
just
such
one
a
example.
Creep. Like, yeah, and
I felt like a big creep. Like, especially I don't know. It was funny.
I wanted a bit more of what you see in like The Witcher, so to speak, where like if you do the wrong thing and you come off the wrong way, like, the people you're trying to woo will be like, "Look, this is not working." And it felt, obviously The Witcher is not like a true romantic relationship. It's still a video game, but like it offered that a bit more realism to it. This just feels really weird. Like you have to be an overt creep to attract the people that you want.
And then also the other thing one of the big changes with combat that really stuck out with me were the skills. So the combat is very similar to Assassin's Creed Origins. Little changes here and there, but one of the big things are skills, which allow you to either, I think it's hold left trigger and you hit a face button and you'll do a special move with your bow, I think.
Right.
And then it's
left bumper for
a physical one. And it kind of reminded me of God of War. You know how you can unlock runes that allow you to... I don't remember exactly how they went, but basically it was something like that. Like it was a special move that you could assign and change.
I was about to say, what skills did you use?
So I went with the shield destroyer or whatever, which is so useful. I thought that was a lot of fun. And it's really satisfying, like seeing your character stick it in the shield and yank it out from him. And that was the one I used the most. And then I also used the rush.
Yeah, the rush was really good. My two favorites were the Spartan kick, which I think Ubisoft really wants people to use. I found quite a few people were just chilling on the edges of ledges. I'm like, your sole purpose is
to be kicked.
Is to be kicked off of this ledge. But I also really liked this weird one that was like you would throw a knife at someone if you were in stealth, and you would instantly just appear behind the person you'd throw the dagger
the camera
into.
Would cut up close, and then you'd be there, right?
It was almost, and it's not like magical, but like you would just like appear next to them and just kill them, and you could chain that attack to kill multiple
okay.
people. I mean, in the demo we had, you could only chain it to do 2 different people. But I asked the devs, and like, oh no, you'll be able to chain this to do like 3 or 4 people in like one swift execution. Like, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then finally, I think one of the biggest things that is returning to Assassin's Creed is all of the naval combat.
Mm-hmm.
And we didn't, at least I personally didn't spend a lot of time apart from the introduction to it where you first get your boat, which I don't think we're allowed to give the details on that. But once you first get your boat, you're kind of, they show you the ropes, and it felt pretty good. I think it seems maybe you just haven't unlocked, maybe we just didn't unlock it, but it seems a little bit more limited than Black Flag. Like I remember having more like piracy options. Like I wasn't able to board, at least like, how you could, if you almost wrecked a boat in Black Flag, you could pull up next to it and board, and then you go on. I didn't do that. I don't know if you can, or maybe
you can.
You still can.
Yeah, okay. I did it by accident because in that mission you're supposed to destroy the ship, I think, but
but you boarded it.
I did. Yeah, I boarded it by accident and died pretty quickly. Like I was so underleveled compared to the people who were on that ship. But
so, do you think the ship combat's working out pretty well? Do you think it fits this game?
I mean, it's one of those things that I realize that this is further back in time, so there's not as much technology to work with, but it's clearly apparent that you don't have as many options at your disposal for naval combat, and the ships are just slower because, again, like technology hasn't caught up to the time in Assassin's Creed Black Flag. And
I did notice that.
Rogue,
like you could hold X or A on Xbox to like boost your ship, but it didn't last that long. And when you weren't there, like travel speed was like
super slow.
I'm like, how far do I have to go?
Yeah, so I don't know how that's going to turn out. It was one of those that when the game asked me if I wanted to do extra bounties on the ship, I was like, I think I'm going to hold off on that.
Yeah.
So hopefully there's something to speed up your ship in the full game. Otherwise, I might not tackle many of those missions.
Yeah, I'm not sure if I will either. I bet, but you can upgrade your ship throughout the game. And another interesting thing is that you can also abduct people and recruit them for your own ship, which reminds me a lot of like Metal Gear Solid 5, how you would do that. I don't think it's as in depth. I didn't spend a lot of time looking at it, but it seemed like a kind of interesting little touch.
Yeah, it's really weird how you do it. You just knock someone out, and then you're like, you're coming with me now. And they're like, okay, I'll join your crew. But I did check, and like you can take the people that you recruit and turn them into lieutenants, and each one of them has like a specific skill set. Like if you recruit an archer, then you'll be able to fire more arrows when you're boarding a ship.
Okay.
And the people that you romance, if you follow their quest line all the way through, you can recruit them as a lieutenant on your ship as well. Like the girl that we were romancing, she has really
Odysseus
good...
or Odysseus.
Odessa,
but it was like,
because she's
so
a descendant of Odysseus. She has really good skills. Like if you make her lieutenant on your ship, because
after you sleep with her and then she's like, now I don't know what to do, and you're like, well, you're looking for adventure, hop on my boat. And then I'm like, all right, cool.
That romance is so weird.
Anything else you wanted to point out that you noticed that you enjoyed, or maybe like some concerns that you might have with it?
I will say something that surprised me is the fact that not all of the swear words are censored in this game anymore.
Oh, yeah, you pointed this out, because in the previous ones, usually they do it in like the language that the area is.
Yeah,
like the native
language. But Cassandra and Alexios, they drop some F-bombs in this game.
I do remember that. That was a little bit off-putting, but
yeah,
I don't know. Like after a couple times, like it's not overused. I didn't think, but it definitely was like, oh wow, they are cussing.
Yeah,
sound like sailors.
It kind of ties into a thing that we were told right before playing, where Cassandra and Alexios are their own character. Like they fit a mold that Ubisoft has already written. So even though you have those dialogue choices, most of them are just different versions of the same phrase. Like you're not saying totally different things, like in Mass Effect or Dragon Age, where you could say like one thing or a completely different thing. In Assassin's Creed Odyssey, you're saying pretty much the same thing. Like there's a woman who asks you to help her gather some wood, and you can tell her after she keeps nagging you, like, look, fine, I will get you your wood, just be patient. Or you can just go off on her and like just swear up and down. It's like, stop it, I will get you your wood.
I'll find you your fucking wood. All in all, though, I'm pretty positive on it. I'm looking forward to it. I think what you said early on it definitely rings true. I think this game like takes that final step that Origins needed in order to like feel like a true RPG.
Right.
But I don't know. We only played the first 8 or so hours, so there's still a lot more to see. But anyway, that's what we thought of the opening hours of Assassin's Creed Odyssey. The game comes out October 5th, 2018 for Xbox One, PC, and PlayStation. Be sure to come back to GameSpot for all your Assassin's Creed news.
Hey! Shitface! Get down here! Cyclops got a message for you.
Tell your boss he can stick it.
That's for last week!
Malaka!